We wanted to leave on the 29th, but the train from Gemas to Padang Bazaar was totally full on the 30th and on the 29th. So we had to start our journey on August 27th, 2025. We already booked some of our tickets on July 6th. So the ferry to Stulang Laut Johor Bahru, JB, Malaysia for $80.09. Everything is in US dollars for both of us. If you would book it directly on the Dolphin Fast Ferry page, it would have been cheaper. It would have only cost $47.43 for both of us. But they only accept payment through an app that we don't have. Bummer. We also added the fee for canceling for any reasons for $9, and we actually did use that because the first time we booked the ferry, we had to cancel it because of what I already mentioned, the trains later on in our journey being full. So we had to cancel that first booking. So luckily we got that cancelled for any reason. So we had to get the ferry 2 days earlier. We also already booked the train from JB to Gemas, Malaysia for $9.95. And the train a day later from Gemas to Padang Bazaar, Malaysia for $49.75. So all that we pre-booked. And then we actually wanted to book the trains in Thailand. So Paul tried to book the train from Padang Bazaar to Surat Thani, Thailand. He filled everything out, but when he clicked the button to pay, a message popped up and it read something like that the safe trip is not longer available. He tried with other trains and I think with other destinations, and he tried so many things, but it was always the same. So he couldn't book any trains in Thailand. So Paul told me online, it says from many people that it does that all the time if you want to book a train ticket in Thailand. So you just gotta go there to the counter and take whatever is available on that day or the day after. Like booking in advance for a train in Thailand, you have so many problems. Many people online said so. So we weren't able to book any trains in Thailand in advance. Bit of a gamble. So when it got closer to our departure from Batam, Indonesia, we booked the hotels and the Airbnbs. So from August 27th until August 28th, Hotel Tropicana, Gemas, Malaysia, $22.39. Then from August 28th through August 29th, Train Hotel in Hat Yai, Thailand for $23.04. Then August 29th through August 30th, Tree Home Plus Nakhon Si Thammarat in Thailand for $22. And then August 30th through September 3rd, so a little bit longer, Airbnb in Khanom Thailand for $110. And 3 days before our departure from Batam, Indonesia, Paul filled out both the entry forms for Malaysia and Thailand. And yes, Thailand requires now also an entry form. We didn't need an entry form last time on March 4th, 2025, when we got to Thailand. Then here is that video. So, but now I don't know when this video comes out, probably still entry form is required. August 27th, 2025, 7 a.m. we woke up. Actually, I was already awake a little bit earlier than that. We packed up the rest of our stuff and I went to the bathroom many times to get rid of diarrhea, I think 4 times in 22 minutes. Luckily, then after that, it stopped. I also took some GABA to calm myself down, like always before we leave for a move. So one bag was full of food and supplements, drink for me, of course, for those 3.5 days for that long move. Paul ordered a Grab for 8 a.m. and it was there waiting for us. Drive to the ferry port was pretty short. We wanted to check in our bags like we did on the ferry from Singapore to Batam, but we were way too early, so we had to wait. We were at the ferry port around 8:17 in the morning and our ferry was leaving at 10:30. And we couldn't check in until an hour before the departure of the ferry. Paul wanted to get 2 packages of salt, well, for me, and KFC for him at the mall that was attached to the ferry port. But the building wasn't open yet. It opened at 10 a.m. and that's exactly our boarding time. So No time for that, unfortunately. I walked around the ferry port to look for postcards, my last chance, because really in Batam, Indonesia, I haven't found postcards anywhere, neither did Paul. We didn't look everywhere, but we looked a lot of places. And also at the ferry port, nothing. So I'm actually really sad. Indonesia is the first country where I couldn't find any postcards anywhere. I really would like to continue this video out here, but somewhere out there someone is using a, can you hear it? Yeah, a machine, so I don't want to wait, and I don't know, oh, there's a kangaroo. So let's see if I can continue here. The mower was mowing closer and closer to us, and yeah, but here I will have cars, like now. Paul got a coffee at a Starbucks so we could sit in chairs and wait comfortably. I unfortunately on and off got nauseous. So I on purpose tried to put more heavy stuff into my backpack because for the ferry from Singapore to Batam, there's the video, we had to pay extra. Okay, only 13 Singaporean dollars, 10 US dollars, 10 cents. But hey, why not try to lighten up the luggage a bit? So I put much more heavy stuff in my backpack, so it was really heavy. And this ferry ride wasn't just barely an hour, it was actually a 3.5 hour ferry ride. So maybe heavy luggage is much more expensive this time. So when it was time for check-in, Paul checked in our fat boy, the big suitcase, and the twins, our two white suitcases that are carry-on sized. And of course, it was still too heavy, so he had to pay extra, 50,000 rupiah. Sounds incredible, sounds so much, $3.60. And for that, I put heavy shit in my backpack, so not worth it. Yay, I love traveling with ferries, and that one was almost empty. Unfortunately, at the beginning, I on and off got some nausea, but luckily it got actually better. And the nausea wasn't because of the ferry ride. I was already dealing with that a day earlier. And actually, towards the end of the ferry ride, I was feeling great. Paul talked to a guy that told him that those ferries, either from Indonesia to Malaysia or Indonesia to Singapore, they used to be super full. Singapore, Indonesia round trip used to cost 25 Singaporean dollars, $19.11 US dollars. Since after COVID, it cost 50 Singaporean dollars, so 38 US dollars 22. They even had lots of cases of water on board of the ferry, but I still had so much water with us, we didn't need any. Our checked-in luggage was with us in the cabin as well. We departed at 10:21 a.m. instead of 10:30. Cool. Because we were worried we had to hustle to be able to catch the train in JB. So we were happy that we actually left earlier. Earlier I said this was a 3.5 hour ferry ride. No, because of the time difference. I wasn't counting that. So the ferry ride was 2.5 hours. I couldn't believe it. Not far behind us, there was a guy snoring, just faintly, but I'm basically allergic to snoring sounds. Later on, much further away, another guy was snoring, even louder, much louder. Oh my gosh, and I hate that sound, I can't stand it. Pretty cool when we went through the channel between Malaysia and Singapore. Around 13:50, 10 minutes earlier than scheduled, we got off the ferry with our checked-in luggage because it was there, so we just grabbed it and we got off the ferry. Luggage and passport control went over very fast. We walked through the attached mall and got into a Grab to go to the train station. Oh, customs was actually when the Grab driver drove us out of the port. So they just asked if we bought anything from duty free. We said no, and then they just said, okay, you can go. So they let us through without checking anything. Super easy, super fast. The Grab ride took about 11 minutes. And we were back at JB train station. Luckily, that time was a Wednesday, so it was so much less busy than last time we were there because then it was a Friday evening. Here is the video when we went from Penang, Malaysia to Singapore by train. Because of many people living in JB, Malaysia, and working in Singapore and commuting with the train, it is a bit chaotic there on certain days or certain times. So we actually took the same train route back from JB to Gemas. Last time we took the train from Gemas to JB. We made it to the train without having to hustle a lot. The train departed on time, 14:40, and we had our reserved seats. I had some problems during the train ride, and actually because the woman next to me, well, there was like where you can walk, and then there was the woman, she took off her shoes and her bare feet were stretched out there. And do I think that's bad? Hell no, of course not. But unfortunately, it already started back in Reno, Nevada. I have problems seeing bare feet. So I tried with my phone or with this to actually kind of shield them. And also not just bare feet in real life, also when a movie shows bare feet, I like shield them. Yeah, I know, probably another Asperger's thing, and the worst is when they move. So yeah, I had some problems during that train ride. But I still don't have any problems, and I hope it stays that way. When the bare feet are on the ground, Paul walks around barefooted all the time, and I don't care at all. It doesn't bother me. It bothers me when they're stretched out, and especially when they move. That's my problem. Don't ask me why. I'm not choosing my problems, my issues. My brain is weird. I didn't have a problem with bare feet all my life. I had no problems at all. It just suddenly started. Yeah, I kind of feel like the older I get, my Asperger's is getting worse. Anyways, luckily that woman in the train got cold and she put something over her feet to cover them. Oh, that was such a relief for me. Because it was actually really hard to cover them up with a tablet, or my phone is even smaller, and they were really like right there in my vision of my field of vision, my vision field, however you call that. We arrived at Gemas at 6:47 p.m. We were supposed to arrive at 19:06, so a little bit early, yeah. We walked to the Hotel Tropicana. Paul booked a night in there because it's close from the train station. So yeah, we could just walk there. Super easy, cool. On the way there, Paul got himself some KFC. Finally, he got his KFC. While I was waiting, it was so loud because of all the birds there. We got to the hotel, to our room. So we got to Gemas, our first night during our move to Thailand, and Hotel Tropicana, close to the train station, so we could walk here. But Paul has to take this bed because this is the only one with an outlet. And I have to take this bed, and I will be cold all night. I hate the AC, but we need to keep it on because we don't have a fridge here. He needs the outlet because of his snoring machine, as a CPAP machine. So I'd rather be cold than hearing snoring sounds. So yeah, we already unpacked a bit. We have coffee we're gonna take with us because there's no kettle, so we can't use that. There's no fridge. Paul went downstairs and asked if there's a room with a fridge, but there is none. So he's getting ice now to for my food. Here is just shower, toilet. Yeah, it's really simple, and it's just for one night, so that's totally okay. We also got 2 of these water bottles. We need more, so Paul is also gonna buy some water, but I already packed those up. For one night, that's totally fine. Okay, Paul built us an oaky refrigerator. So there's a bag of ice underneath, and then all the food here. A bag of ice on top, and you just put the eggs also on top. I might also put some of my supplements, drinks, and some water on top. Oh, he bought a second one of these. He bought also 2 bottles of waters. So. And because we have a bum gun, so we can just wash our hands with that one, so we don't even need that one, so great. Oh, but the beds were super comfortable. And it was totally quiet, inside and outside of the hotel. I love that. But unfortunately, the AC was quite loud and it prevented me from falling asleep. Well, eventually I did fall asleep, but not for long. Around 50 minutes after midnight, I woke up with a hot flash and super nauseous. I had multiple bouts of diarrhea. Finally, I felt better and went back to bed. But yeah, it wasn't a fun night for me. Unfortunately, I was in that phase before I got a poop. I'm getting super crazy, nauseous, and feel like puking. Yeah, it's still happening that I have a phase like that. Not every time, fortunately, but yeah, and it's not fun when it happens when we're moving. After pooping, mostly diarrhea, I feel better. This phase already started in the evening before our departure. This phase happens quite often, very randomly, also not on moving days. So I doubt that it had anything to do with traveling. I was just super grateful it happened when we were in a hotel room and not while we were in the train or on the ferry or so. Yeah, I remember. I was just so happy and grateful that, at least I'm in the hotel room. Needless to say, I didn't have a very good night. Thursday, August 28, 2025 at 6:30 a.m., Paul's alarm clock went off. We got ready to continue our move. Yeah, the Oki fridge worked greatly. Almost all the ice melted, food and drinks were cold. We walked back to the train station. Unfortunately, I got nauseous and diarrhea again. We boarded the train, and again it was the same train ride but in the other direction. So last time we took the train from Penang to Gemas, Malaysia, and this time we didn't take the train all the way back to Butterworth station in Penang. So around Bukit Mertayam, the train took another route towards Padang Besar, almost by the Malay-Thai border. The train was supposed to leave at 8:12 in the morning. It left at 8:35 in the morning. 23 minutes too late. The train ride went over pretty well, except I still had on and off a little bit of anxiety and nausea and the same annoying music playing over and over and over again. Yeah, it was the same music we already had when we took the same train ride, but the other way, the exact same music for such a long time. It was so annoying. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay sane.